Kicking down doors is one of the most annoying Chicago Fire episodes I've seen in the show's 14th season. It's not a gut hit for the reasons I thought it would be. Indeed, the program is developing three distinct characters, one with a one-liner, one with a lengthier but still somewhat weak justification, and one with a more carefully considered plot that nonetheless calls for him to completely change everything he has stated thus far. However, what this episode does to Stella Kidd is far worse than all those things that are objectively negative. For what purpose did the season conclude in that manner? Why did Stella appear pregnant for 0.2 seconds and then be removed in the opening moments of the season premiere? We didn't even have a minute to savor it. As a result, the characters were unable to gain any knowledge or experience any new feelings. Naturally, Taylor Kinney and Miranda Mayo did an amazing job portraying the hurt, the loss, and the rage. However, we were aware that they would be. This isn't a surprise. I'll begin by listing the most annoying aspect of Kicking Down Doors, which is the first episode of Chicago Fire Season 14. This episode, Stella and Kelly, is fantastic because Miranda and Taylor are very sensitive to their characters, and Stella and Kelly always get along well. Thus, their characters respond how we would expect them to in the midst of a challenging plot. Stella tries to apologize for something that wasn't her fault at all, and Kelly reassures her that they are all in this together, as he should, prioritizing her, supplying her with the attention and comfort she requires. Because he loves her beyond everything else, he isn't pressuring her and is letting her dictate their next course of action. This is significant since Kelly does desire family. But Chicago Fire has always made it apparent that Kelly loves Stella more than anything else. Stella is Kelly's wife and his partner. She is not a vehicle for the family he desires. Since he desires a family with Stella, he was okay with adopting. The episode ends with a plot that, although I would have probably been okay with it if it had happened in a different way, now seems like a cheesy solution to the logistical issue of Stella getting pregnant and what it implies for the firehouse and the show. Adoption stories often resonate with me since I've always wanted to adopt more than having children. They do. However, from a storytelling perspective, it also feels like a slap in the face in this specific case, due to the likelihood that they will say yes and that they will make excellent parents. We were aware of that element. However, this was not how they were supposed to be. Fans didn't want them to do it. Stella had not dreamed of that. What was promised was not fulfilled. And even though the show plans to give fans a family in another way, it was incredibly cruel to close Season 13 with one thing and start Season 14 by breaking that promise. The Carver situation is obviously worse. And while it makes some sense for him to have a clean split, the justification still seems a little tenuous. It's difficult to feel pleased about his leaving right now, but Andrea Newman has hinted in interviews that we might see him again, which might help ease the pain. Then there is Ritter, who hasn't even left yet, but whose exit strategy is outlined here rather plainly. Look, I know that situations involving life and death can cause one to lose perspective. However, this Ritter was certain that he didn't want to live with this man. The one who didn't even appear to be upset about the split? He's going to sacrifice his life, his career, and his privacy for him now? Like that? I apologize, but it seems like it was unexpected. Without a sure, it's a nicer ending than what Damon and Carver are getting, but overall, it's still a rather hurried one that leaves a negative impression. However, one of my least favorite things about this program is that now there are two obnoxious men taking up screen time instead of the incredible women. Yes, like Carver, Vasquez might win me over. Perhaps he won't, as Pascal hasn't. I'll let Stella handle this. I'll be forgiving of him if Stella ends up liking him. I suppose I will have to keep sneering at him if she doesn't. As endearing as the actor is, we will simply have to wait and watch for the time being. It's much too soon to tell if we like him after just one episode. Too early.